Hey, back again. 2 videos in the same day, mainly because I have stuff set up, so this is much easier. So what we're going to do is swap out a graphics card and swap out the cooler, the air cooler on our bench setup that we have here. Hopefully there's not too much glare. First thing we're going to do, we have DDU here on the desktop, just the folder. We have a bunch of different ones in here. So you can download DDU. You can just do a search on DDU and download this display driver uninstaller. And that's something we want to do first before we swap out the graphics card. We'll just open our browser here. In this case, I only have one installed on here right now. And you can just type DDU in there and just press enter. And so right here, our display driver uninstaller. And you can click on that and download it. I already have it here, so I don't know if I'm using that version, probably an earlier version. We'll just see here. 18059, can't remember what the other one was. So in order to use display driver uninstaller, what you want to do is boot into safe mode. So hold down the shift key and press the restart. Keep holding the shift key. We're going to restart. So I'm still holding down the shift key here. And I can let go of it. Hopefully I held down the right key. I believe it's the shift key. Yes, it is. So when you hold down the shift key and then you press the restart. So we're going to go to troubleshoot, advanced options, startup settings, and restart. So we're going to boot into safe mode because you want to use display driver uninstaller in safe mode. Although I should get a prompt on the screen. Yeah, I'm just going to enable safe mode without networking. I don't need networking. This is just telling me that we are in safe mode and that we don't have internet access because I didn't enable that. The screen looks a little different. We go to our display driver uninstaller where we were before. And we're just going to run the uninstaller. It's just saying that was the first time we were using it. So over here we have our device type that we can select. We're going to select our GPU. We'll just go through a few anyway. I'll select the NVIDIA one here first. And we'll just clean and do not restart. Even though I don't have an NVIDIA card, I have an AMD card, I'll just get rid of any other drivers that may be in the OS right now. And we just go to know that. That always comes up. Okay, so now we're going to select our AMD because we have an AMD card in here. And we're going to clean and shut down. And we're going to shut down because we have to swap out the graphics card. So it goes through the cleaning process. And it goes through the registry. It gets rid of anything in the registry that references the AMD card. And it's finished, and now it's shutting down. It's going to shut off the computer. And it is shut down. Okay. Get a little more light over here. We'll turn you around over that way. There we go. Sorry. There we go. All right. This is what we're swapping out to. It's a 3070 Ti, 12 gig, OC edition. As you can see in the bottom here, we have, I don't know, it'd be hard to see, but we have this cover. So don't throw these out. You get them with your graphics card. Keep them so you can protect your slot, whatever that's called. Not really sure. All right. So we're going to pop out this graphics card. We're off. I'm going to shut the power off anyway on the power supply, so that's off. Take our power out. Take our cables out. There we go. Don't forget to push these down right here when you're taking the card out. So that's what we're taking out. That's an R9 380. Anyway, put that off to the side. Pretty quick process here. And then we've got our 3070 Ti. We're going to put that in. Hook up our power. In this case, this one's an 8-pin. I think the other one was also. There we go. Let's just check and see what the other one was. The other one was an 8-pin, yes. So basically it's the same power here. Hook up our output cables. They're pretty much wrapped around everything now. HDMI and a display port. Yeah, that's a display port. Okay. And we've got the little covers, or little plugs for your where your outputs are in your graphics card. We'll put those off to the side. Put them in the box actually. All right, so that's done. So we're going to power back up. So we turn on our power. And we'll restart our machine. So there's, this is what we're using to restart with here. Sorry. It's all we need to use. And we're going to, it's usually right near the speaker. Hard to see, but all we have to do is short 2 pins, which is our power pins, and the computer will start up. We don't have to go into the BIOS, we can just go right to Windows. And we have a screen, which is good. But no drivers installed, so I'll just leave it like that for now because I'm on my little screen here. And we'll see what drivers it uses. Just go to NVIDIA, go to the drivers page. Don't use the automatic, go to the manual search. Choose my RTX 30 series, not the notebook, but the regular RTX 3060. And this is just a regular 3060. Start our search. 531.18. Let's see if we have that. I do have drivers for a number of graphics cards on my 2.5-inch drive that I was showing you earlier. And we rebooted. I don't know why we rebooted. Well, allowed to do that. Perhaps I may have done that myself. I'm not sure what I did there. Just going to check again. $531.18. Go back to my graphics drivers. See if I have 531.18. And I do. And I'm just going to paste that to my desktop. We're opening it now. We're going to install the driver. Just waiting for, there we go, the NVIDIA package launcher. Yes on that. Okay, we're just going to install it to our C drive. By the way, this has an NVMe, 1 terabyte NVMe. That's all I have set up on it now, and that's the way I install Windows, with only the one drive, whether it be an NVMe or an SSD. And then I put the other drives after Windows is installed. And we're just going to install the graphics driver. That's all I want to install. I don't need to perform a clean installation because I use DDU, which I prefer to use than doing a clean installation with the graphics driver. And we're going to put next on that. It's going to install the driver, and then we'll be up on the other screen too, so we'll have both screens going. And it's going through the graphics driver installation right now. And next we're going to change that tower cooler on there, and we're going to put in the AIO on. Should be done in 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Nice card. A little RGB, a little Tough Gaming logo on the top. Changing color. It's almost done. And it looks like it might be complete. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to turn you now to the main screen. There we go. And that's it. It's as simple as that for installing a graphics driver. Now we can reboot. We don't have to. It didn't say we needed to, but we will anyway. I obviously have it set up a different way where the large monitor is the second monitor because it's coming up on my bottom screen here. Go to display settings. We'll just see. Oh no, it's still set up as one. As you can see, I have this set at 150% here too. That's only so I can see the damn thing. All right. Let's see if we have MSI Afterburner on here. I don't. Let's install it. Once again, we'll go back to my drive. And I think, do I have it on the first? No, I don't. There it is right here. I use the MSI Afterburner just to set up fans more than anything else. So they're not, as you saw earlier, they weren't even turning. I don't need the Riva Tuner statistics server. And we're installing Afterburner. Should be done here in a second. Yeah. And then we'll run Afterburner. Get rid of this terrible screen. We'll start it with Windows because we're not going to overclock. Go to our user interface. I prefer either one of the big editions. Personal preference right here. Gives me all of this over here. Get rid of our tooltips because they drive me nuts. User interface hints and tooltips. Uncheck those. Apply. Okay, so there's our RTX 3060 driver version 531.18. There's our, well, we can certainly increase that, the power limit. And here's our fan right here. So if we go over here, there's our, sometimes it'll just be set like this. And if I wanted to find my own, I would check this, and then you can define your own fan curve here. Oh, mouse is so big, it's, so at 75, I just want it to be, yeah. We'll ramp up there, and we're going to apply that. Whoops, forgot to uncheck the firmware. There we go. Do we have anything to run a test? No, I have nothing installed. Oh, I might. No, I don't. Okay, let's install something. Go into our graphics testing here, see what we got. Yeah, we'll install Heaven for now. And our fans are already spinning up because I've set a manual fan curve. And there we go. There's Heaven. And we'll just run this benchmark. I just want to see how the card reacts more than anything else. See what kind of frame rate we get. So we're getting, what, 180 FPS? .50 degrees Fahrenheit, or sorry, Celsius, or temperature. Whoops. Sorry, shouldn't have had that in full screen. Just let that run. Obviously, I'm in the basement, so you can hear the water running. Because this is where the pipes are. Okay. Yeah, 53 degrees Celsius. Our core is running at 2115. I don't know, it's hard for me to see. And our memory is 7350. See what kind of score we get. Once again, unedited, so we have to go through the whole thing. It's not that long. Not getting very warm, which is good. I have a couple of these 3060s, so. And we're almost done. Grab one of these. 216 FPS, 5462. So now if I want to, I can start overclocking the graphics card and see what kind of score we get. So we'd be able to increase that. And Heaven's a good one to use because it doesn't really crash the computer. It just freezes and crashes. But it just crashes the software. So if you've pushed it a little too far, it'll just crash the software. So let's just save this. I'll just save it to my desktop. Oop. We'll just close this program because that'll show you a different way here. If we uncheck the full screen mode here, and then we can run it again, but we're not going to be in full screen mode. Then I can open Afterburner. And it'll continue to run when I click my mouse. So as Afterburner, so we can take a look at our temperatures over here. Get it to a place where I can see it. GPU usage to 100%, 54 degrees Celsius. Let's go down a bit. There's our core clock here. And our memory clock below it. These two right here. We increased our power to a max. Well, let's redo that. Put it at 110% now. Now, here, let's try and increase our core clock a little bit. Also, if you bought a used graphics card, this is a great way to test it. See how it'll overclock. So let's increase our core clock by 40 megahertz here. We'll apply that. No artifacting. Everything seems to be okay. So you increase it from like 40 at a time is reasonable, 40 megahertz at a time. And it's a good way to see if the card is having no issues whatsoever and continues to operate correctly. Then we can be confident with our with the fact that the card is decent, especially if you're buying a used card. So let's increase our memory clock. This one we can do 100 at a time. This is also going to tell if our memory is good on the card. And obviously we're going to see a little bit of an increase in frame rate. It's not going to be substantial. And you're going to see a little bit of an increase in temperature, but we're still just at 55. But if we move down here, we're going to see where our core clock went up a bit. What's the max memory clock on here? 78. Let's increase our memory clock another 100 to 200. So we're plus 200. Apply that. This is going to drop it. Whoops. Just for a second here, I just want to drop it. We're at 77. I'm just going to drop it to 0. And apply that. Yeah, we went down. See, we went down to 75 here. Try 318 or just above. Now we're at 78. So that's how you can that's what I recommend for overclocking graphics cards is MSI Afterburner. I'm just going to reset this. But I am going to increase that power limit back to what it was. And I'll overclock this graphics card a little later. And we're just going to minimize it. Okay. Let's quit this program. Now the cooler, you know, the AIO is going to take a little longer than I expected, so let's go into the BIOS and see what we can do with memory. Play around with it a bit. So let's restart. Let's spam the delete key. And we're in the, oh, I'm on this bottom screen again. Okay, I want to be on the top screen. The other card was doing that. This one is not. So let's do this. lower this down, turn it over this way. There we are. It's gonna be hard to see though. Can I do it from over here? Yeah. Well, that's a little bit of a drag. Hang on. I'll grab my keyboard here. Put this down here. There we go. That's not bad. Just so we can see the BIOS screen here. Not going to be able to see it all, but move that back to the next notch. Maybe. How about that one? Does that work? A little bit better. Got most of the BIOS. Now you can see me. That sucks. I don't want you to see me. I'm gonna go over here and get rid of some light. There. That's a little better. Less glare. All right, so we're in the BIOS. Let's do something with the memory here. So F7 is going to take us to the expert mode, where we want to be. XMP enabled. You can keep XMP enabled and still change your DRAM frequency down here. So let's change it. First, I'm going to do something here. I just want to save my profile. There we go. Profile saved. So let's try 3200 megahertz on this 2400 megahertz RAM. Let's try it at the existing timings we currently have, which is CL17. Sometimes it'll scale with voltage. A lot of the secondaries, tertiary timings will scale with voltage. In this case, we have everything set on auto. Let's just see if it'll boot. Huh. It will boot. That's crazy at those timings. That's some good RAM. Oh, and I misidentified it. It's Ripjaws 5 RAM. G-Skill Ripjaws 5, not Trident C, like I said before. Okay. I'm going to put you back on the other screen. This is a great little thing. The application was on, I don't even know what application that is. Oh, and we ran into a problem. So, the memory clock was not stable. So we're going to spam the delete key again. Oh, we weren't in time. So we should get another error. The memory is probably not stable, but we'll run. So we got a program called, it's not stable. That memory clock is not stable at the 1.35 volts we have running in the memory. And that could just be a matter of loosening the timings. So we'll put it back down here again. Go back to there. Drop the keyboard. Oh, and drop my little 2.5-inch hard drive. That thing gets a lot of abuse. Okay. Go to our AR tweaker. We're just going to try to increase the voltage. So let's go to 1.4 volts on the RAM. Whoops. Didn't have my number lock enabled. There we go. Hard to do on this screen. Yeah, see it turned color. Oh well. And then we'll F10 to save the BIOS. And OK. And we'll see. We know we're going to boot, but is it going to be stable at all? We'll see. Put you back over here. See what we get coming up on the other screen. Oop. Well, we're getting recovery, but we don't want to recover, so we're just going to restart. There we go. And we are booted into Windows. Let's get you a little closer here. There you go. Oops. Okay. Let's check our memory speed. So we're further than we were before because we increased our voltage to 1.4 volts. And that's not good either. That's not working either. I don't want to put any more voltage into it. So now I would have to loosen the timings. So now, put it back down here. We're going to loosen out our timings a little bit here. So we're going to leave it at 1.4 because we're overclocking like 2133, 2400 RAM. I just noticed that some of the RAM is 2133, the others is 2400. So we'll go to our RAM timing control or RAM timing control. Let's loosen these out to 19, 38. Save that. And see what we get. It's booted. but we ran into an error. Now, when you're overclocking RAM, you can kind of pooch Windows. So I always do it before I get a system all set up, installing software, etc., etc. And this is not going to boot at all. So in this case, we're going to shut off the power. And we're going to restart the system again from a complete power off. So let's go back to where we were. We would have to loosen out the timings even more. If we wanted to get it to boot. And we are at 3072. Seventeen 34. And we are at 1.35 volts. I'm going to spend a little more time with this. And we can save that. We're perfectly stable at 3000 or 3 gigahertz on the RAM, 3000 megahertz. As that's what we were running when we were overclocking. Now, could we go up higher in voltage? We could. I don't like to go above 1.4. I'm sure I could get this RAM a little bit faster at 1.4 volts with looser timings. And it wants me to recover again, and I don't want to. So we just, yeah, here you can just go restart my PC. And we're going to reboot to Windows. We're getting pretty decent RAM speed anyway. I can tighten the timings on what I have on it. I'm just going to run MaxMem here, which is a program I use just to test my speed on my RAM. I can get this up. There we go. Get you a little closer. There we go. Yeah, so we've got, you can see there, we've got what it says up here, we've got 2400 and 2133. RAM slots 1 and 3 is 2133, and 2 and 4 are 2400, and we're running them all at 3000 megahertz, so that's quite an increase. These are their XMP profiles 1.2 volts, so we have regular 1.35 volts running into them, XMP. So 3148, it's pretty good. Latency 56.8, that's Intel, really good latency. So we can run another one, we're gonna log it. So who knows how high we can get this memory to boot at least to boot. Not necessarily get into Windows and do anything in Windows, but to boot we could probably get it pretty high. So yeah, so 60 nanoseconds on the latency, which is really good for this RAM. So we've logged that. I'll just show you that log. This is the log here. Oh, I don't have anything installed, unfortunately. Can't look at the log, so I don't have OpenOffice installed right now. So when you're overclocking your RAM, after you overclock it, you find something stable, you get into Windows, now you use memtest. Memtest is part of Ryzen DRAM calculator, which you can pull out of Ryzen DRAM calculator and just copy it to your desktop. And you're going to have a limit because this is the Windows and the free version. You can also use I have a USB stick that boots to the command prompt, which is that blinking cursor, and I can run memtest from there, which is probably a better way to run it. But so we're going to enter 2048. Whoops, right in here. You press enter twice, and that's going to start testing the RAM. But that's only testing. So what we do is we open multiple versions of this: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And we do the same thing for each one. 2048, press enter twice. Sorry, I'm just going through all this, and I think this is the last one. Okay. So you want it to, I don't know, 300, 400, 500% coverage. You can leave that on for a couple hours, let it run. And it's going to test in this case we are testing, these are each 2 gig. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We're testing 16. We're testing half the RAM. We could test more than that, but for this exercise, we'll just do this. So you want 0 errors when you're testing the memory. When you overclock your memory, no errors whatsoever. If you get an error, then you have to make a change, either in your timings. And of course, we're all set on auto, so I haven't tuned the RAM yet. So I know what a stable speed is at 3000 megahertz. But now I can get to tuning the RAM, which is tightening down the timings that are in the BIOS. So we run memtest. We shouldn't get any errors at all. And like I say, run it to 300. Right now we're at what? We're at 3%. Run it to 300, run it to 500%, doesn't really matter, right? So we'll just stop this testing for now. And you can get errors pretty quick, actually. And sometimes your errors can come real late, which means you're real close. So if you get errors right away, then you're a long way from stability. All right. So next, although we won't do it now, I'll end this video here. We installed the graphics card. We went through a little bit of memory timings or memory overclock on how to do that, what to do with your voltage, raise your voltage, even XMP. If you're using XMP, you can use XMP and you can still set manual a manual overclock. So your XMP could be 3200. You can set it manually. You can leave that at 3600 with XMP enabled, and then you can change it to 3600 if you wanted, and go and loosen your timings or raise your voltage or do both. You're probably safe, easily safe up to 1.45 volts with most ICs, which is the integrated circuit. Some RAM is going to overclock better than other RAM. This RAM overclocks really well. G-Skill does bin their RAM quite well. But in this case, they didn't, because I can get it, I can overclock it quite a bit. So anyway, that's enough for this video. That's 2 videos in one day. So that's pretty good for me, because it's been a month. It's been 2 months since I've done any videos. I'll just give myself some more light here. And once again, I'm Jim from Tech Lovin'. Thanks for watching my unedited videos. So whatever mistakes I make. It is what it is. Thanks for watching. By the way, I received no funding from any of these companies. I have more inventory here than what we call Best Buy in Canada. I have much more. I have too much inventory, but we'll do another video soon. I want to do more of them. I want to do one of my builds. Maybe we'll do one of putting this in a case. So anyway, bye for now and have a great day. Bye-bye.